Hi and welcome back to Sophistic Cakes by Mary. This video is part 2 of how I make my sugar roses. Now for this next one, I'm going to use, what shall I use? I'm going to do the cutters. The individual well, it's like 5 petals. I'm going to do this one next because it kind of gives you some context on what you're going for with the easier versions. Just as a base idea. So let's do the larger ones. I have this here. Okay? What you want to do to figure out what size, I can tell those are going to be too small. What size should be your inner layer of petals? You need to take your bud and hold it inside one of the petals in the cutter. And if it fits within there, then that's the size you use. So this one's actually going to use, I might make one of the smaller one for the very center part and then do the rest of the petals with this. I'm going to use those two. So you can see it's a little small, but what happens is when I'm placing the petals around the bud, there's some stretching that happens. So typically I can get it to work well. And it's got a pretty pointy center in the bud, which I should show you how to make a bud. I will. You just take your gum paste, fondant, whatever it is that you're using, roll it in a ball to get those creases out, but you're not going to see it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be at the center of your flower. So once you get most of those in your hand like that, okay, and you start focusing on the cone of the center, and the pressure on the outsides of your palms. And what that creates is that. Pretty easy, huh? You can go back in and refine it. And the size that you make your center determines the size of the end result. If you want a larger rose, do a larger center. If you want a smaller rose, do a smaller center. So I think that gets you the idea. And like I said, these little cracks right here, you're never going to see that. That's okay. That would be fine. I would leave that, and then I'd leave it sit overnight for the next day. At least overnight. You could leave them forever. Really, it's not going to hurt it. Okay, so maybe I'll just use this to make my center row. It's right here, and I'm going to prep this by just inserting a toothpick in the bottom. There we go. Put it on my foam. You could put that in with your gum glue, water, whatever, to get it to stick, but since I'm not going to be using this flower, as far as I can tell, I'm not so worried about the toothpick sticking in. Plus, when you put the petals on, there's going to be water or gum glue of some kind that you attach it to the center with, so that's going to help too. Well, this might not be big enough. It on there. Give it a little nudge with the roller. So you can see that edge coming through. You can see that white edge. Typically, I would make all of my petals at the same time. Put saran wrap over the top of them so that they're staying kind of away from the air, so they're not firming up on you before you're ready to use them. And then roll them out, thin out the edges. I usually do that all at the same time, but I'm gonna do it step by step. Use my pad again. Dump that out there, dump it. Put that out. I'm gonna texturize, or thin out the edges on the back side. Half on the petal, half off again. You just want to ruffle it a little bit. I do have other videos on these roses, but it's been a while. So 3 out of the petals, I'm going to push in the center to give them shape for the center. Actually, those will be for the outside. Sorry, I lied. Then flip it over. The ones that are not rough or like that are going to be the center. So I'm going to kind of try to change the angle a little bit. Okay, so then you take your center, a little water or gum glue. I just like to use this pad. Stick it in the center. Can you see what I'm doing? Stick it through all the way. And yes, this is a little short. I'm going to end up having to push them up over. That's okay. Because even if they tear this first row, you're going to cover that up with the other rows. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the centers completely in the glue. Bring it up to the top, and you'll tuck one side in under the other one. Then take the other one, go across from it, and wrap around it. And that gives you your very base of your center for your rose. And the other ones, we overlap them. Glue on there. I always start with this one. Bring it up. Leave that edge kind of curled like that. And you want to evenly space these as much as you can. I'm a everything's got to be even and spaced out right kind of girl, and that's not how nature is. I get it, but my anxiety makes me do it this way. Yeah, this one I'm just pulled up off the bottom all the way. That's okay. I'm really not worried about that. And you tuck. One end gets tucked under the following petal. This tucked in, that tucked in, that tucked in. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, apparently I do need to put some water on that just to get it to stick. Making a liar out of me. Okay, and you want those to be kind of closed in. The petals lay out, stay open as you go out towards the outside, not in the center. Okay, so set this aside, make my next row. I'm going to go ahead and roll out 2 of these instead of just the one. It's because these you can do, oh gosh, days ahead of time. I wouldn't do them the day of, for sure. At least 2 days ahead, let them dry. Especially if you're using the edible centers instead of these pre-made cones. Oh, one other thing about these cones, you can find these made out of foam. I have found them on Etsy. I can't remember what they're called. But they're rosebud centers, and they actually have a wire attached to them already. And I really like those, but they only come in a few sizes. You can't get these larger ones like this. All right, so I'm going to make sure that these pieces are attached on the outside edge here. It can fan open a little bit, but I don't want it to go too far. I don't want to have random petal like laying down, you know? Then I just go in and I curve these. And I will be honest, if I'm anything, I'm honest, prefer the foam centers or these because they're lighter weight and not as bulky at the bottom. See, this is really bulky at the bottom. That's not as bulky. But when you don't have any and you decide to do a tutorial last minute or, you know, the day before, you use what you got. So there's the other version of the sugar rose. Moderately easy. I'm going to put this one in the flower former to hold it up. And if you need more reinforcements, you can wrap saran wrap around the outside edge of it so that the petals don't open up too much. All right, so there's version number 2. And you can add another row if you want to. You can add more petals. I just find this is a good place to stop when it's, you could use these on a wedding. This could be a wedding flower. There's another type of flower that I prefer, another way to do a rose that I prefer this, the wired or with these cutters for weddings. But you know what, I think I'm gonna hold off on this version for now because that's a video in and of itself. So I will save that. If you guys want me to do that, let me know and I'll put that on my list of things to show you, okay? I think we're gonna do that today. Decision made. So if you've made it this far in the video, I applaud you and I thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.